let's dive into just the idea that work that you love is possible. Well, I want to take you back to when I was, 22, I'm thinking 22, and I was fresh out of college. So I was newly graduated in my senior year. I was doing what all seniors in college are doing, which is looking for a job. Well, I had lots of interviews. I had my, fancy suit, fancy at that time, and I was putting my best foot forward, had my resume, all the things. Well, I got 2 job offers from a couple different places that I was interviewing, and I naturally took the one that paid more money. Now, more, let's use that loosely, okay? Because it was barely getting by. But to a broke college student, it was a real salary. I was super excited, and I just knew this was going to be a great experience. Well, the position that was posted, the position I applied for, the position I was offered was called an advertising coordinator. Now, I was an advertising major in college, and we got to work with all the different aspects of advertising, from research to graphic design to media buying and selling. And so this position, as it was posted from the local newspaper, was going to be an advertising coordinator working with all of the different advertising departments. So for me, as a 22-year-old, this was a really strategic move. I thought, this is great. My first job is not only in the field I want to go into, advertising, but it's going to have exposure to and experience in all the different aspects of advertising. This is a great first job. This is a great first step to show me, hey, maybe I really like this aspect of advertising, or, oh, maybe I'm really good at this one and I should pursue advancing in that particular part of advertising. So I thought, this is going to be so great. Well, after my onboarding and all of my training and those initial first few days, I was put in the seat to do the real job. And y'all, it was absolutely nothing that was described. I was not working with research, design, media buying and selling. Let me tell you what I was doing. Are you ready for it? Now, a lot of you know me, so you will know just how terrible this was. It was data entry. Data entry. Not just any data entry, which I personally see as mind-numbing for any human being. It was data entry into software from approximately 1989. I had this old box computer, and I'm plugging in numbers that correlate to I don't even know what into this spreadsheet. And after a few hours of doing so, the whole thing would just crash and I would have to start over. It had no capacity to save. It had no capacity to recapture this and save my work. I would have to start over and do this mind-numbing work again and again and again, simply because the software sucked. Now, let's just talk about all of the problems with this. Number one, details are not my strength. Y'all probably know this about me. Not my sweet spot. I don't get excited about spreadsheets or numbers or details of any kind. So what would be hard for someone was especially hard for me because of my personality style. I'm creative. I'm more of a free spirit. So this was terrible. Number two, the software was the absolute worst. But let's just go ahead and paint the full picture of my experience in this terrible, terrible first job. The cubicle had these gray walls. The floor, the carpet in this place was gray. The walls were painted gray. The ceiling had fluorescent lights. And because I started this job in January, right after college, I graduated in December because I had transferred and lost some credits. It was dark when I went to work. It was dark when I went home. And it was gray in between. Y'all, I kid you not when I say I died a little inside every day of this job. So after about 2 months of pure misery, in addition to a very toxic culture of pure negativity everywhere you turn, and who could blame them? This environment was the worst. I remember deciding to quit. And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm not doing this for the rest of my life. I'm all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed out of college. I'm so excited about the workforce and having a real job and being a grown-up, and this was not what I had in mind. I didn't need my dream job at 23, but I knew I wasn't going to keep doing this. Well, I didn't have a job lined up, but thankfully my mom had a small business and she said I could work for her as a way to make an income until I figured out what I wanted to do. But here's what I'll never forget. I'll never forget going into my boss's office to let her know that I was resigning 2.5 months after starting. And I sat across the table from her. This is a woman that had been at this newspaper for, I think, about 35 to 40 years. And she sat across the table, and I was very kind. I said, I just don't think this is in my strengths. I really want to do something I'm passionate about. This is not what I had in mind. I thought it was going to be more advertising. It's kind of data entry, and I just really am going to look for something else. It was very nice, very respectful. But I'll never forget what she said to me. She looked across her big desk at me and said, I don't understand, Christy. Do you just not want to work? A job is a job. I could not articulate how I felt in that moment. I didn't have words to defend myself or make my case, but here's what I knew. I knew as early as age 23 that a job is a job was not going to be my story. There was something in me that wanted to do more, wanted to do work that I was excited about, that I was good at, that I cared about the results and the outcome and the purpose. I didn't know how to say it at the age of 23, but I knew a job as a job was not going to be my story. It was her story, and it was the story of the majority of the people that work there and just resolved to the fact that that's how they get a paycheck. But that wasn't going to be me. I walked out that door and I began to look for something else that I was excited about. That led me to a job with the YMCA. That led me to a job here at Dave Ramsey. And every step of the journey has been so much more than a job. It's been something that I get excited about, where I look forward to work on Mondays. Now, does it mean it's easy? No. I face hard days. It was hard at the YMCA in many ways, even though it was a great experience. It's hard here many days. Does it mean I never have to do things I don't want to do? No, of course. I still have to do some things that I don't want to do. We all do. But the overall purpose, the overall how I spend my days, the mission, the culture, the team is so exciting to me. It is so in line with my strengths. And oh, by the way, I get paid doing it. I don't know where you are today, but I want you to know that a job as a job does not have to be your story. It's not too late to change your mind, change your direction, change your career path. Maybe it's something that happens gradually over the next few months. Maybe it's something where you have been right on the fence and you just needed someone to give you permission to change today. I just want you to know, even if you don't have words to put around it like I didn't at 23, there is something inside of you made for more. You are created on purpose with a purpose. And by the way, work is an outlet that we seek that purpose, that we live into that purpose, and the result happens to be a paycheck where we will earn an income for our family. A job is not my story, and it doesn't have to be your story as well. I promise you, you were made for more.